What is up, guys? So I was asked to compare the LG G8 to the Bold M1. So if you don't know, the Bold M1 is one of my favorite budget smartphones, and the G8 is one of my favorite current flagships that you can get for really cheap these days. So they're both two very interesting phones because you can get the Bold M1 for around 200 bucks. You can get the G8 also for around 200 250 depending on what day it is, price fluctuations and stuff like that. But yeah, so two very interesting phones, and let's just start off with the hardware. Now, the Bold M1 actually has some really good hardware for a cheap phone. So both phones actually have a glass and metal design, which is very nice. I like the just the raven black color on the Bold M1. It's just really dark. It gives off kind of like a rainbow color effect as well, and it kind of has a bare design. And on the G8 you have also again a glass and metal design, very nice. Has the flat camera design, completely flat, which I absolutely love. It does make the phone a little bit slippery when it's on a table though. And yeah, so hardware on both of these phones are excellent. You have USB Type-C, single firing speaker at the bottom. You have your headphone jack as well with the quad DAC on the G8, which is awesome for audio lovers. Now, when you turn both phones around, here is the interesting part. So you have a full screen display on the Bold M1, but not only is it a full screen display, it's an AMOLED display, so it gives off some really nice colors. And you have the always on function as well if you want to take advantage of that. And it's something that I really love. It's a 6.4 inch 1080p display, and it looks pretty good, gets pretty bright as well. Now on the G8 you have a 6.1 inch display, slightly smaller, but you have the notch on here. But with the G8's display, it's extremely high resolution 1440p display, very high PPI as well, so text and everything just looks very sharp. And it's one of my favorite displays. It's a POLED display as well, so it just looks really great. So as far as display quality, the G8 display is definitely better, but if you're gaming and stuff like that, you're gonna love gaming on a full screen display. You really can't beat it, and it's a really good at this price. At most full screen phones at this price point are usually IPS displays, so that's why this one is kind of unique. Now, another big difference is software. So you have Android 9 on the Bold M1, and it is supposed to get Android 10. I'm really not sure when it was supposed to get it, but they haven't really gave a solid date, but they said it was supposed to get it. So you do have Android 10 already on the G8 with LG Skin. Looks really great. You can take advantage of all of the features that LG throws in. But yeah, so software experience on both these phones are pretty fluent. You have the Google Now page on the left side, both which I absolutely love. Now, as far as the processors, you have the Helio P70 and the Mali G72. And on the G8 you have the Snapdragon 855. Now, if you're a gamer, you're leaning towards the G8 because it's just going to be able to play all the games like Fortnite and stuff like that. The Bold M1 cannot. Now, the Helio P70 is not a bad processor. As you can see, it's keeping up with the Bold M1 as far as like launching applications, but when it comes to gaming, you'll notice that it is just a little bit slower at launching stuff than the G8. But overall, it's a pretty solid processor even for gaming. I have a whole gaming test on YouTube if you guys want to check that out. So they both, or well, the Bold M1 has 4 gigs of RAM. The G8 has 6 gigs of RAM, so you can definitely take advantage of multitasking much better on the G8 as opposed to the Bold M1. And they both actually have 128 gigs of storage, which is really good on the Bold M1's part, being so cheap. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about cameras real quick because this is an essential difference here. So on the Bold M1 you have a dual camera setup, a 16 megapixel main and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. It only shoots in 1080p, and the pop-up camera is 13 megapixels, and the quality is decent. It's not the worst camera that I've seen at this price point. It's on par with a lot of phones at this price point, so you're not gonna expect anything too crazy. But I hate that it lacks the ultra wide sensor on here, so that is always a bummer. It's one of the things that I've noticed. And with the G8 you have the set 12 megapixel standard and the 16 megapixel ultra wide, so I'll always prefer an ultra wide over a depth sensor. And you also have 4K video recording and 8 megapixel wide that shoots in 1080p as well on the front of the G8. So as far as cameras, the G8 is just going to take overall better photos, dynamic range, color accuracy, especially in outdoors. It's just going to be better. You're going to get better shots on the G8 for sure. You also do not have NFC on the Bold M1, and the G8 does have NFC for your mobile payments. They both have a fingerprint scanner, but the G8 has the physical fingerprint scanner on the back, which is fast and works fine. But I really love the in-display fingerprint scanner. I just think it's just really cool. It's not faster than the physical one, but I just think it's cool. It looks cool, and you know, it's just a cool thing to have on your phone. But the battery life on both of these phones, so the G8 has amazing battery life. You're looking at 8 to 9 hours of screen on time, even with you know, a 3000 milliamp battery here. It's actually 3500, excuse me. But on the Bold M1, you have a 3500 milliamp battery as well, and you're getting significantly less battery life, around 6 hours of screen on time, 6 to 6 hours, well, about 7 hours really, if you're not like using it super hard. But yeah, so you can get through a day on both these phones, but you're definitely gonna have better battery life on the G8, and also you have 10-watt wireless charging on both of these guys. So it's really impressive that the Bold M1 has wireless charging. So as you can see, the G8 the better phone here, but it's got the advantage with that full screen display. Like I said, I like the in-display fingerprint scanner. It's pretty cool, but pretty much in everything else, you're gonna really most likely prefer the G8 if you're not super into content in the full screen display. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.